And in her own words, as she says, I was born royal, not by descent. My ancestry was pretty grounded. However, I always felt like a princess, able to carry my thoughts and ideals. Nothing ever came in my path, even by an inch towards ultimate success. Ah, I pity those who ever tried. And here is the lady who wrote those beautiful lines titled The Royal, what was it, Neelam? The Royal Disposition. And I welcome you, dear Neelam Saxena, on our page. And it is such an honor and a privilege and such a happy moment for me to talk about your latest book, which is already creating ripples on Amazon, The Lost Mint Taste. Welcome, dear Neelam.
Thank you, dear Nidhi. It is always a pleasure to talk to you.
And always a pleasure. And it's the happiest moment of my evening to talk to you about your beautiful book. So, your dear friends who are joining us, let me tell you, we are going to have a lovely conversation with author Neelam Saxena about her latest book, The Lost Mint Taste. So, before we go ahead, I would like to introduce my lovely lady, my lovely, beautiful guest. Neelam Saxena Chandra has authored 7 novels, 9 short story collections, 39 poetry collections, and 15 children's books. She's a bilingual author, writing in English as well as in Hindi. More than 2,000 of her poems and stories have been published in various journals, anthologies, magazines, and e-sites. She holds 3 records with the Limca Book of Records 2015 for being the author having the highest number of publications in a year in English and Hindi. She has won several international and national awards. She was listed in Forbes India as one of the most popular 78 authors in 2014. And what an honor and a privilege to welcome Neelam Saxena on the page of Neelam Saxena herself, as we will have.
Awesome.
How interesting to say that, Neelam. What do you think?
You like to tease me, whenever we are on a show together. You
Yes,
always like to tease me.
tease you.
And,
My favorite
coming
pastime.
with, whenever we meet, I'm going to, pull your legs like anything.
Okay, I shall be ready. Neelam, if you can just raise the book to our viewers, so we can start by talking about the beautiful cover, which is designed by a lovely little budding artist, Tavishi Saxena, who happens to be Neelam's niece. And it is such a beautiful cover. So subtle, not overdone, not underdone. I really fell in love. And if you can all see that Neelam and me try to match up to the cover of the book also. And it has been published by Author Press, our very favorite Sudarshan Kacheri ji. And always a pleasure to be associated with him. I think Neelam has had more than 25 books with him. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I have a lot of books. And
Lots
in fact, the journey began way back in 2013 or 14.
with him as
Yeah,
your publisher, correct?
yeah, yeah.
So Neelam, now that we have had a look at the book, what brings me to ask you the first question is because when I have gone and read through your beautiful writing, and I have interviewed you for many other books, but this time there is a difference. There is a new Neelam I found in your writing. I have to say this. So I will begin by mentioning a few of the poems which were titled The Pollen Grain and The Madness. So there is a kind of autobiographical element there. Am I mistaken or am I right? Or what would you like to tell us about it?
See, the Poland grain is autobiography. There's no
It
doubt.
is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other one was not autobiographical. That we poets often write as I. It
Hmm,
was for
hmm,
a theme-based poetry contest, and this poem had won the seventh position in a contest held by NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness USA.
huh.
So they
They
had
were,
given some themes. They had
huh,
given
huh.
some theme. You had to relate the mental illness with some food item.
Yeah,
So I just weave the story around it.
you did that. Yes, because you, I think, have this very beautiful knack of weaving a story very metaphorically. So you have used a metaphor. Yeah. So it's just very touching. And then there is the poem Sunrise, where you are finding life, or you are bringing, life into the mundane things, electrical wire and different things. So I have seen many, and always your poetries have positivity. There is a message. They are very women centric. They always want to portray women as a powerhouse, which you yourself are one. Always there is an underlining tone in your poems. But this time it was like, as if you were making an endeavor in writing those poems, but automatically somewhere there was a different Neelam, where your stature in your personal life has changed a little bit, because you did mention your daughter. Now you're a bureaucrat, you are a writer or a poet, a person who finds place in the Forbes magazine, and somewhere you have also achieved the status of being a very, very recent mother-in-law.
I
So
still don't feel like I'm a mother-in-law.
you don't look like one, I have to say that. You don't look like one, but yes, that also is a compliment in itself. So
Yeah,
that's a
yeah, I'm
sunrise.
flattered. I'm flattered.
Yes, no, spoken from the heart, spoken from the heart. So,
So thank you.
and
Thank you, lady.
so would you like to share any of your poems right now with our viewers and me? It's always a pleasure to hear you recite poems.
Okay, you talked about the Poland grain. Let me
Hmm.
read this poem.
Welcome, Neela.
When I was about to join my job, my father had warned me. Your spirit would remain damp in making a new home in one city and then getting transferred to the other. And let me warn you further. Your eyes always would be greedy. I had told him back then. My spirits are like that of a tramp. I belong to nowhere. I'm sure I would be in love forever with this life of a draper. He stared at me. There was something unsaid, which I suppose my heart knew. And fearing the words, away I ran from there. Just like I wanted to have just one man in my life, and surprisingly one child too. I think my heart longed for shade of one tree, but I preferred to be a nomad. As a result, I have no roots now. I can be plucked and placed anywhere, like a yellow foliage tree. Ah, there blows a harsh wind. I suppose I'm going to be uprooted again.
They are so beautifully, and you can imagine. And because you are talking of father, so definitely I get very, very emotional when I read this. I can feel a daughter's heart, and I have to tell the viewers that I have been in touch and quite closely with Neelam. So I know that, behind this happy go lucky and always vibrant Neelam, also there is a heart, which is beating for the downtrodden, beating for relationships, beating for respect towards keeping relationships alive. And that is what pours into her pen, and then it flows into her beautiful, beautiful, innumerable books. Innumerable books. I think by the time we finish this interview, she's going to tell me, Nivi, there is another book coming now. I'm
Yeah,
101%
of
sure
course,
that it is
of
coming. See,
course.
I
I'll
caught you
just
there. Oh, okay, Neelam. Now, this will be slightly personal. And yes, my dear viewers and all the lovely people, Sadhvi Chadaji, so sweet. She always joins. Neelam, we love her so much. Maitri, Anup Jalanji, Meera, and all others, each and everyone who joined, I have to say that this is such a beautiful part of a writer, which our Neelam always projects. She has not subscribed to a very strong political outlook. She has not subscribed to a particular religious point of view, which is so important for us who are following our literary pursuits. We cannot bind ourselves into those emotions, into those thought processes. We have to be open.
Yeah,
We cannot. But this time there is a very, very, stark, visible spiritual side of you that I saw. How? When I read poems you have based on Sita, Medusa, Lord Ganesh, and it was something very different, Neelam. I never saw this part of you. So I think this book has really held a special place in your heart. So there is a spiritual side, and to all the people who are listening, let us all, because our Neelam has made it very categorically different. To be spiritual is not the same as being religion. You can connect to the Almighty in many ways. So I
yeah.
could see that. Say, darling, go ahead.
I often declare that I am not very religious. I'm not religious at all, but I am
Correct.
very spiritual. I am very
You
spiritual. The two
you are
things are
spiritual.
different.
Yes.
Yes.
So would you like to say how did you come about writing? Because there is a whole section I could see one after the other, which has at least two, three poems on Medusa. Then there is about Lord Krishna. So there is a different part of this. So what were you thinking? What were the thoughts? What made you write this? A whole section of spiritual poems.
See, Medusa was written from the point of view of a woman. Like this Medusa's curse, you read that.
Yes. The
That's
Greek mythology.
yeah, Greek
Yeah.
mythology.
Mm,
So I'm connecting that to today's women,
correct.
and I'm saying now also the world hasn't changed, and now also Medusa. I feel that Medusa was a sex fault, and she had to bear the wrath.
Correct.
So now also bulls are there in society, and the girl is often blamed. So I have correlated the two things. So, and in the second poem about Medusa, I'm saying you be a Medusa.
Hmm.
And uh, and I'm correlating how even her head was used towards the end by syrup. So
Hmm.
that was about Medusa. Then coming to this Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna is just a name. It's
Hmm.
about all about love.
Love.
So yeah, it's about love for me. So Radha Krishna are just embodiment of love. It's not having a spiritual angle. It's about the feelings of Radha. It starts from the place where she is attracted towards him. Then she talks about yes, you'll have to go someday. I know that, but till we are together, I want you.
Hmm.
And then she's saying adieu to him. Then she's talking about how people are mocking at her, that he's left her and she's not worried. Then towards the end, he wants to come in his embrace, and then she dies. So it's a complete story.
It's a story
Then,
in your different
yeah,
poems. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So it could be just any other love story in which the two lovers are not able to meet and they keep craving despite not having the physical.
Yes. Yes.
So
And
it's
as
just,
you,
it had got nothing to do with religion as such.
no,
But,
that's what I said.
and then
Mm.
coming to the Sita one,
Yeah.
Sita poem,
Mm.
again I've written a different perspective
Mm.
about Sita.
Mm.
I'm talking more about how she follows the norms of society, goes wherever Ram is going, and still she has to undergo all that Agni Pariksha and everything. And yet, after doing so much, when Ram leaves her, people think वो बेचारी हो गई नहीं वो बेचारी नहीं
नहीं.
वो नहीं वो बेचारी नहीं हुई she found her own path and when Ram comes back later she isn't just bothered about it and this Sita is so strong that she says away you go and I don't want you anymore
Mm.
and the earth is a better place for me than coming back to you because you have deserted me at a time where I needed you the most and
Yeah.
though I had supported you at every stage, you didn't. So my Sita is a strong woman.
Yes. As I said, again, your poem has some women empowering streak, that inspiration to
Yeah,
say that, listen, this is how it is. Now you have to move
yeah,
on. You are the 21st century Sita.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. See the last four lines. When Ram
Yes.
finally came to meet her, there
Hmm.
was no pleasure. Her
Hmm.
soul danced silently to its own tune.
Hmm.
Before Ram could plead with her to return, she vanished under the earth with the shine of a moon. So
Yeah.
she had a child, and with that shine, she went into tears, and she thought that is better than going back and coming.
Yes. An independent, a strong person, once again, figuring in your poems. After the spiritual side, Neelam, there is something very, very inherent in your poems is love for nature. Especially,
Yeah,
especially, I have let me also now add that Neelam is very fond of clicking pictures. She also has a photography page, if I'm not wrong. She collects all her clicks while she's traveling due to her job. And Madhu Malti, it's so
yeah.
nostalgic. Madhu Malti, many of the pictures that you have clicked on your, and you always put that picture along with some of your small reels that you keep posting, is there. So, what is the connection with Madhu Malti?
When I was in my earlier posting, there was a Madhumanti plant just in front of my gate,
Uh,
and I just adored it. It was my companion during the hard days of Corona. So this picture is from my garden
oh,
that I yeah. So none of the pictures are actually from means the pictures are either clicked by me
hmm,
or my sister or my husband. Nobody. So
yes.
and
Tumhari book,
some are my paintings also. Like in the Radha Krishna poems, I use my painting.
it's your painting. Now, this is a
Yeah.
revelation. Really? If you can just lift up the painting, maybe the viewers can also have a good look. I didn't realize that, Neelam, but most of the pictures I knew were clicked by you. And I saw the sister's name, and just to bring
Yeah.
some fun. So, even in your books, there is some kind of nepotism happening there. Can we say that? Oh,
you
family.
know,
Yeah.
pictures, some of them are by my sister also, but not many in this book.
Not many.
The other
Okay.
books have almost all her pictures, but
Yeah,
This
and this
time
very
I use those
beautifully
things.
clicked. There's one on the Tonga. There is the one where you covering your head. I think that is the first one, the royal disposition. Yeah, very lovely. So it is bringing life into your poems. Anyway, we don't need pictures. Your words are enough. Yes.
So this
Oh,
is one of my
yeah,
one of my paintings.
paintings. So now
Yeah.
we are seeing another talent of our dear Neelam. Neelam, now let's talk about the visit to Paris, because that also
Okay.
figures in this collection. Like, how was the experience, though you have written, but we would like to hear from your own words as you speak
Uh,
about that visit to Paris.
Paris. There are two poems on Paris. You
Correct.
are talking about the one named Paris, titled
Yes.
Paris.
Huh.
Okay. Uh, See, um, this poem was written long, long ago. This was
Hmm.
written in 2008 when I really visited Paris.
Hmm.
And I had some health issues during that time.
Okay.
So it is again an autobiographical poem.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh, because at some moment you realize certain things when you're silent and observing nature or building or something like that. So that was some self discovery about which I was.
Yeah. So it is autobiographical, but the way it is your way of projecting
Yeah,
about your visit. And of course,
yeah,
as I always mention, that you have a poem that you wrote for your daughter. You already recited it in one of our international meets, I remember. I think the last month
yeah,
one. Yes.
yeah.
Also, and then the most interesting part, which brings again the typical Neelam sense of humor, that you ended with intrepid talks, which is about
Yeah.
that fun. And it is like, so relatable in any Indian scenario, that you always tend to have those kind of aunties somewhere or the other you will meet in the parties. That kind of a personality would always
Yeah,
be somewhere. So
yeah,
how, right, like, of course there is no need for you to go into the details and say, but this is a typical writer observation, and how you translated it into just a little lyrics, you can say.
see,
Mhm.
this poem is also written years ago,
Hmm.
and this was written when I was trying to write lyrics. So it's written with that rhyming scheme only, AABBA, if you are
Ah,
free.
yes.
So I have written such kind of poems long ago when I was in junior college. So I thought let me try it once again, and maybe this was written in 2008 or again.
No, it's a very positive way to let it be the last of your poems in that whole collection. Okay. Now, at the almost towards the end of the interview, I have a reason to ask this question now, because you will be ready for some kind of leg pulling now. You know me. Why why the title The Lost Min Taste? What bring?
Uh,
Start up.
Again, see, this can be related to pristine nature, the
Hmm.
poem I have written.
Hmm.
If you read the last verse,
Hmm.
when I return to the concrete jungle, I remain enthusiastic till I can. And then there's something in me that forces me to return to the nature, to dip myself in its cup of green wine, so that I regain my lost mint taste. So I feel that mint taste is something which everybody loves.
Correct.
And you get that mint taste from different places. You could find it, means, I mean, you could say Nivedita could find it in dancing. I'll show you wonderful dancing pictures. So, and in the same way, I find it in nature. This poem is all about how nature invigorates me, how it makes me feel so enthusiastic.
Like,
So I want everybody to have that enthusiasm by reading my poem.
yes, definitely. Highly recommended, viewers. It is. I have read most of the poems. I still have to read, but I had to pick out the best ones and then keep talking to Neelam. Neelam, now time to be naughty. Okay. Okay. So the question here for you is, now your book talks about the lost mint taste. So we want to know Neelam as an author, Neelam as a person. You can pick anything which might bring the taste. Okay. What's the taste of love? Bolo bolo,
Tangy,
tell tell.
tangy.
Oh, I like that tangerine. Okay, interesting. Acha, what is the taste of? See, Santoshji also joined. How wonderful is that? Um,
Hi, hi.
and Puna is also here. Okay, what's the taste of friendship?
Friendship has only one taste, and that is sweet.
So sweet. Okay, now tell me, when I say the word mint, who or what comes to your mind? I would be more interested in who.
You are more interested in who? Maybe,
Who?
maybe my husband.
Yes, I knew this answer was predictable. ये तो पता था. अच्छा, what who or what comes to your mind when I say Karela, bitter gourd?
Karela. I love Karela.
So do I, but you know what I mean. The bitter taste.
नीम चढ़ा करेला किसको कहूँ ये पूछ रही हो
यहाँ से यहाँ पे बोल दो, बाद में देख लेंगे.
बहुत मुश्किल है तुम मुझे पिटवाओगी
अच्छा चलो, what? It could be a feeling, it could be an experience. What kind of experience would remind you of the bitter taste of Karela? Say that, okay? Leave the
you,
person.
everything that you feel bitter sometimes becomes butter later because
Later.
yeah, because if you look in retrospection, whatever happens always happens for the best. And whenever I felt this is the worst thing that could happen to me, I realized a few years later that was the worst thing. That was the best thing to have
Best
happened to me.
thing happened. See,
Yeah.
Neelam and her positivity coming alive on the show. She's not allowing me to pull her leg. Acha, okay. Okay. Maybe indirectly you already answered, because my next was going to be that what is the taste of negativity, but we will not talk to Neelam about negativity. What is the taste of positivity for you?
Spicy.
Spicy. Ah, wonderful. Acha. This is going to be interesting for you. What is the taste that you can describe your writing passion? What is that taste? Your passion for writing?
There's one sweet I love a lot. It is called Cheer Kadam.
Kheer kadam.
It's a Bengali sweet, and it
Ha!
has peda covering on the top and a little rasgulla inside.
Inside.
Yeah.
That's for you.
So
Oh, how
yeah.
sweet. Okay. Such sweet answers, and so sporting of you always to just fall into my trap. Satveer Chadda ji saying good question. So Neelam, before we wind up, first of all, from my side, from the whole LWG group, all admins, all members, all the viewers, first of all, I would like to wish you a great, great success with your this newest book till the other comes along. It's a beautiful book. People have to go through this, not only because Neelam, First of all, this is something I forgot to say. Neelam doesn't have this habit of using, those very high funda words. She's not like a Shashi Tharoorian. She's very simple. In a simple way, she will use simple words like anybody. Even I would say her words can be understood by a 10th and a 12th grade student who loves to read and write poetry. She's so simple. Yet, in that simplicity, there is a very deep message. There is women empowerment. There is a sweetness. There is life coming along in even things like an electric wire or beetle nuts or jamun. Those people who belong to the north will know that jamun will start coming now. It's time. हम जब लखनऊ में थे तो इस टाइम आना शुरू हो जाता था जामुन. It's for the summer. So this is how our Neelam projects her feelings as a poet. So Neelam, wishing you all the success, lots of love, all the best as usual. Keep shining, and you're beautiful indirect guidance. She doesn't like it when I say, but I have to say, not directly. She's not didactic, but she's very sweet and subtle in a way of guiding. No, you can write. No, I think you can do this. So this is the way she is. She's not riding her ride all alone. She's taking so many people along with her. And maybe we are not able to say many times to you, Neelam, but we do feel your love, we do feel your beauty of your soul within the group itself. Now, before I end, I want you only. I have thought I will do, but I don't want to do that. I will do it in some other day. I want you to read any of the poems that you choose, your favorite, where your heart is set from the Lost Mint Taste, for which both of us got together to talk about.
Mm, you want me to read another poem?
Anything, yes,
Okay.
take your time to choose it. By the time, I once again thank Meera, Santosh ji, Sadbir Chadda ji, Mohammad ji, Purna, uh, Sheikh Ilyaj, Mohammad Azhar, Anup Jalanji, Maitreyi, and each one of them who joined me. I might have missed many names, I apologize for that. I was so involved in interviewing Neelam. uh, Neelam, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, and I'll read a poem
Hmm.
about which we have not yet talked.
Yes,
It's
which one?
titled it's titled The Face.
Oh, okay, okay. Welcome, dear.
Train on the railway line just in front of her house comes to a squeaking halt. Sound that echoes the still pine and the sky, already so lonely, runs away from the window, flying down those steep. She falls several times, gets up, and tries again. She finally slips from the steps, but is happy. Because she lands on the ground and she can now move around freely amidst the trees that surround the bungalow. The boots, they don't hurt her, but she is already in a state of emotional ache, of loneliness can be so painful. In the garden, she's so happy to find those crawling earthworms. She begins to count them, trying to recollect the numbers. Are they 18 numbers or is it 81? Suddenly her glance falls on the pomegranate tree. It is a fruit at her eye level. She plucks it and sitting down under the guava tree tries to break it open. The garden indeed is a place of infinite possibilities. And she is only too eager to explore them. Suddenly, she hears the voice of her mom. Anita, could you please sit with your brother? I have a lot of work to do in the kitchen.
Hmm.
She knows that it isn't a request but a command. Bidding temporary adieu to her ecstatic world of dreams, she goes inside the house holding her mom's finger. Mom sees her baby on her knee and inquires about it. She smiles and nods. It's okay. I'm not hurt. As she sits down looking at the big handsome eyes of her baby brother, her eyes are tearful once again. It hurts a lot. After after all, he's only 1 year younger. Just that, he's a boy. Just that, he's a boy.
He's a boy.
So that was my book, The
So
Speech.
beautiful. Yes, I had read through, and I'm so glad that you brought it up right at the end of the show. And before we say thank you to Neelam one more time, I want to remind that viewers keep glued in to Neelam Saxena page, because on the 4th of May, which is day after, Meera Bansali, one of our admins, will be interviewing an artist who also happens to be residing in Bahrain. That is the 4th. Then on the 8th of May, once again, you will find Neelam and me on the international poetry session at 9 p.m. India time, and many, many more very interesting literary shows and events coming your way on Neelam Saxena page. So don't forget, keep tuned in all the time. The whole week, we have very interesting shows on our page. With that, Neelam, I would like to once again thank you for your time. Thank you for writing those beautiful poems. Thank you for bringing the taste of mint back into the reader's mind with your expression, with your way of interpreting life, empowerment, spirituality, your autobiographical poems. And we want to wish you all the best once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. I especially loved your questions regarding the stage. It was very interesting and unique.
Thank you. It's always interesting to talk to you, always interesting to interact with you, Neelam. Thank you for that sporting spirit. And with that, I would, if you would want to say something to the viewers who joined, and then we will
Yes,
say a bye.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
sure. Sure.
I wish to thank all our dear friends who joined us or who will watch us later. It's because of wonderful viewers like you that we have such interesting programs on the page. So keep joining. And if you also happen to have some literary taste, either in English or in Hindi, then contact one of the. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelam. Thank you, everyone, once again. And let us all wish Neelam a great, great success with her book. And we will continue to entertain you, to enlighten you with our literary pursuits. Thank you, viewers. And here is a good night from both of us.
Good night. Bye bye.